today's task. Get the white turbo out, get the BRM turbo out. So that means I've got to move literally everything. So let's get cracking. Right, well the Metro's in the gap where the turbo was. The Jag is over where the BRM was. So what was there? Oh, the Metro was there, wasn't it? So yes, so now we have the turbo in here. So let's get it up on the lift and then check all the fluids and everything before we try and start it. Right, well, we have got the turbo up on the ramp. We've had all the wheels off, cleaned all the brakes up, wound back the calipers, well, wound them out and wound them back in again on the rear, moved the front ones about a bit. So they're all free. We did have a problem with binding brakes and I can't remember which ones it was. So now I've cleaned them all up, done the sliders, re-greased them, put them all back in. We'll have to drive it and see which ones bind up. The BRM is in for its MOT today, so I'm just charging the battery up. But while it's on the lift, I've noticed this. Obviously that's had a bad repair before, so I'm going to clean that back. I mean, look at it. It's not ideal. I'm going to clean that back and see what I'm left with. And then for now, maybe just tidy it up or see how bad it is. We might have to get a quarter or an end seal and have that welded in before an MOT, but I'm going to clean it up and see what we're left with. So I'll do that now. So not good viewing really. We have holes here and we have big holes under there. I mean, we knew that was terrible anyway. It was obviously a patch that was put on previously. There's another hole there. So yes, we need to get a full rear corner outer seal, cut all that off and start again. Should I have done this before the MOT? Probably. Should be nice for the MOT, shouldn't it? Right, let's get online and see what we can find. Well, the BRM failed. Emissions, I forgot to put the cap back in. Shh. I've now put it back in. Where are we? There it is. So hopefully it'll go for emissions now. And a tyre, as you can see, it's starting to crack. So I'm going to go and get a new tyre. And it got advised on a track rod end. There's a bit of play in this one. I don't think you'll be able to see it without the wheel on. And also anti-roll bar links are advised because they've started splitting. So I've ordered a track rod end, 2 anti-roll bar links, so we'll get it changed. There's hundreds of videos on how to change stuff like this. It's nuts and bolts and counting your turns, so I won't bore you. Right, well I think we're MOT ready. We've got 2 new tyres, new anti-roll bar link this side, new anti-roll bar link this side, new track rod end this side, and obviously the cap. So let's go and see if we can get a ticket on it. And there we have it, an MOT with a couple of advisories. CV joint boot. Obviously I knew it when it was advised before the retest, obviously when it failed, I knew that, but I looked at it. Yes, it had started to perish, but no, I didn't want to start getting filthy and doing a gator. So I'll do that when it really needs it. Hideous job, anyone who's done them before. And obviously various signs of corrosion. Well, yes, it's an old Rover, so it's going to have surface rust and everything, but it's not rotten. It's just surface rust and all the axle and, you know, bits and pieces like that. So we can start using it, I suppose. I'd like to get the white one done next, so let's get that prepped for an MOT. Well, this week I popped around my friend Alan's. He's been building a Series 1 for a number of years. This one has a V8 in it. It came to him with a V8 in it, so he's stuck with a V8. He's just had all the carbs rebuilt, got the engine in situ, but it wouldn't start. So I popped round to have a little play and suggested maybe the timing was 180 degrees out. This is the result. Oh, good day. Clutch. choke is out, okay?
Yep. You know. Get on there.
Right, well, the chassis is up there now, engineless, because the engine is down there. Engine and gearbox. The body is over here because I need to strip the loom out of it, but I've got a guy who wanted to buy the engine, so I had to get that out. The rear axle is potentially sold as well, so that'll have to come off next, and then the rest can pretty much go off for scrap. I've just brought the Jag in tonight underneath it just to save parking outside, so I think we'll call it a day and we will head home. I'll come back to you in the morning. Well, another afternoon or morning, should I say, on the Discovery strip down. We got the rear axle off because that has sold. So just drained the fuel tank. Obviously the fuel gauge wasn't working because I've just got 60 litres out of it. So I've got plenty of those on the shelf. And as it was so full I couldn't lift it to pour it out, I just drilled a hole in it. So I've had 60 litres out of it. So that was a nice find, and it was white diesel as well, not red. So that's gone straight in the Jag, which means I can use the Jag for a bit longer. The body is here, ready for the loom to come out once the chassis is out of the way. And the engine is sat there because the guy's got to come and collect it. So, what else are we doing today? We've purchased another vehicle. This time a late 58 plate, 2009 Mini Cooper S convertible. I bought it from a local garage. The customer put it in there, and turns out they didn't want to fix it, so I've got it. They've told me it's got no compression. So all we're going to do, we paid scrap money for it, we're going to clean it, stick it on eBay as a project, see what we get. So the jet wash is out, let's give it a quick spruce. Well, as you can see there, the Mini is now clean. I took a few pictures ready for the advert. And isn't the saying, if the roof comes off or if the roof comes down, the price goes up? Something like that. So yeah, so I'm just going to stick it on eBay now. So that's pretty much that done with. Other than that, I think that's it for now. I need to find something else to do. The chassis is on the trailer, ready to go. I've begun stripping out the body for the loom. So we've got, hang on, we've got all the loom stripped out, and it's currently out that door over there. So I wanted to get the start from the back so I could fill this full of the rubbish that we've got. So the seats are all unbolted, they're just resting in there. So tomorrow when I come in the morning, lift the seats out and then start pulling the rest of the loom out, and then the dash. So I'll be back in the morning. Right, well, it's loaded on the trailer. I've stripped out the whole wiring loom, filled it with all its innards back in again, and my scrap bin, and now it's ready to go off to scrap. Yeah, I know I probably could have taken panels off and various bits and pieces, but you know, I stored panels for ages without getting anything from them, so I can't be bothered. Right, that's that of this one. Move on to the next job. Right, well, this is the first. A new shape Discovery Sport in today. New brakes all round. The customer has supplied the pads, so let's hope they're right. He doesn't want the discs doing. Fronts look all right. Rears have seen better days, but apparently only does 3,000 miles a year, so we'll just change the pads. There's no lip on them. There's obviously a bit of a rusty patch where there's been no contact, but there's no lip. The rears, again, not ideal. We might whiz them around with a grinder or just a flappy wheel just to clean off the excess rust once we've had the pads out. So it shouldn't take too long. I haven't done them before, but they can't be too difficult. Looks like pop the caps out, undo the sliders, and then the caliper should come off, leaving all that in situ. Fronts again will be fairly simple. It will just be undo the bolts, pull the caliper back, put the pads in. My only concern on the rear is the handbrake, how that mechanism works. So we'll, because obviously it's on at the moment, as they all come on automatically. So we hope we don't have any problems with that. So I think I'll do the fronts first, get them done, and then we'll look at the back. Well, I started on the fronts, got the front calipers off, and the customer pads that were supplied, the supplied pads by the customer were wrong. So I made a start on the back. Now, with the electronic handbrake, I've done a bit of investigating, and obviously it needs to be off when you do this job. So there is a procedure that you can do with the LR computer, apparently. Easiest way, from what I can find by Googling it, is turn the car on, let the handbrake off, come round, pop the connectors off. You've got to slide this catch out, and then you can push it and it'll pop off. And therefore the motor is no longer plugged in, so it can't re-engage. So unplug both of those, turn the car off. Right, so we've got the disc moving. Next job is to actually take the motor off, and that is held on here and around the other side with 5mm head Allen bolts. So undo them and then wiggle the motor completely off. I'll show you these again in a minute, but I'll just give you a quick overview. And then you're left with an E12 Torx male head. You need to wind that all the way off, and that releases the tension on the caliper. Then undo the two Allen bolts. I think they are 6 or 7mm, but again, I'll let you know when I'm going through it. And then obviously pop the caliper off, and then you've got the pads. Oh, you've got to obviously take off the spring clip as well. And then you can wind the caliper back, put the new pads in, reassemble, do it back the other way. So once the pads are in, the caliper's on, push the brake pedal so the caliper squeezes up, then rotate the electronic handbrake spline till you feel tension, and knock it off a touch, put it all back together. But that's a quick overview. I will get on and show you while I'm going through it. And there you go, that is the electronic handbrake motor off, and you can see the torque, male torque, I think it's Torx anyway, E12, I think that's what you call it. And then you wind it clockwise all the way in till it stops, and that releases the piston completely to be able to rotate it. And then next job is to remove the sliders. Right, so the fronts, you undo the 13mm nut while using a 15mm spanner to hold the slider to stop it spinning, and then obviously pull the caliper out, pull the pads out, push the pistons back, and then refit it. So nice and simple on this one. Right, well, as you saw there, the Discovery has gone to the scrapyard in the Sky. Left a few bits on, as I said before, but made money out of it, so I'm happy with that. The Discovery Sport has gone back to its owner. I didn't film anymore, unfortunately, because as I said to you in the video earlier, he supplied the wrong pads. By the time he got me the right pads here, I was just about ready to go home. So I got it finished, got it back together, given it back to him. So yeah, that was that. And lastly, you saw the yellow Mini Go. It was on eBay. I got made a good offer. He came down and had a look. was happy, paid the money, and then sent the truck the next day. So that's gone as well. So that's this week done and dusted. So thanks for watching. Like, subscribe and share, and I'll see you in the next video. Either be buying more cars, another week in the workshop, who knows. See you in the next one. Thanks guys.